Hello viewers, m3sca1 here, Pulse Motor Build off 2016, literally like 10 hours left on the clock ticking over. I don't know what's going on, if I'm ever going to get this thing finished. This stuff was a failure when I tried to get the clay out. The whole thing fell apart basically, like the copper electrode that was supposed to be, you know, partly embedded into the epoxy just popped out in my hand. So I'm trying a bit of a different approach, hand moulding up something, just sort of free-form smashing together this, what do you call it, Selly's Need It product. I had some of that laying around. So yes, got this crazy looking two electrodes in there, and so just going to have spring tension on this syringe feeding water droplets directly into the path, and if I get the flow rate right, then I guess, you know, it'll just go bang 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 every time the capacitor's full. Water will land on the drop, so that's the plan. This is definitely a do not do this at home scenario. Yeah. Didn't take long at all for this stuff to set nice and rigid. It's not fully cured yet, of course, but I should be able to trim it up now so that I can match up a cone over the top of this. Yep, that's good. Pretty rough, but it should do the job. Okay, so this is a test fire. Fill the cap. Oh, that works. That's without water. Okay. Christ, that was loud. There should still be more energy left in the cap. I'll just push water through, which was the initial plan for the test fire. Oh yeah. I just knocked up a chicken stick to discharge this great big bloody thing. Nothing left, so that used it all up with that one drop of water. Okay. Well, I would say that's a successful little unit. This is test fire 2. Hello viewers, m3sca1 here, Pulse Motor Build off 2016. Hopefully this is the final entry. How it works: 240 volts comes from the wall, neon sign transformer, big rectifier, capacitor, spark gap contraption with water injection in the back, and a paddle wheel toy. Okay, let's hope this works. high enough, is it? Shit. So when I release the drill, water will flow. I've got a remote switch here so I can turn it on or off. Here we go. Nothing. What the? This video is an addendum to the whole pulse motor build-off process. The final entry video has been put in, I think it was a day and a half ago now. Just wanted to do a wrap-up and talk about the failures and where I was trying to go and where we ended up and where I'm going to go. So I was going to try to move this wheel. That was the idea. There is a fair bit of mass in that wheel, and I figured if I roughed it up, so I sat here with a saw and tried to very neatly, and it didn't work out neatly, but I tried to be neat and make, you know, even spaced line cuts, but it got all rough and shit hanging off, so that meant I couldn't get the nozzle as close to the wheel as I wanted. And then the thought struck me, just go and grab that little toy paddle wheel thing from the kiddie's bath toy and we'll go with that. All I had to demonstrate was something rotating, so yeah, that's why I ended up there. The failure of this epoxy, I think it was just me, choosing the wrong material for the job. I should have just gone straight with the cellies needed. This stuff was set off in bloody under 10 minutes. It was solid, and in a day it's rock hard. Whereas this was 48 hours and it was still flexible. So that's why the electrode fell out. I want to talk about the arrangement of the electrodes there. I'm planning to build another one, but use a stepped arrangement, and I'll just talk about that a little bit more later. So the idea here is you've got the rails of the electrodes getting closer together as the gas moves out of the chamber. And if you think about how a capacitor discharges, it oscillates with, when it's no resistor on it or anything like that, this thing's allowed to just swing free, and you get this really fast, if you looked at it on a scope, it's sort of like real fast, tight, short waveform, and that would correspond to the way that, the gases would be leaving here. And if you think about those high points in that waveform, they're applying power at the top of the curve and at the bottom of the curve, and if you might need rectification, but you can then apply power for the full length. So right now this spark gap is arranged right at the back here. The two pins come close together at a 90 degree angle, and they just blast off in there, and the stuff's free to do whatever it does, and it has to go this way because of the shape of the container. But if you make this like a true waveguide, and there's a picture that I'm thinking of that Stan Meyer had, where you had this stepped arrangement on the chamber walls, and then if you also orientated, make polarity on the bands that you put, rather than have rails, have bands, circular bands, but half bands, and then each one of them offset by a certain amount of rotation, so that each one of these oscillations applies a rotational force to the atom as it comes from the back of the chamber to the front, so have like a little trigger spark gap, and then it enters into the oscillation wave trap part, and yeah, I think you get the idea. So that's what I want to build next. Yeah, Pulse Motor Build Off 2016. It's a lot of fun. I was glad I got to play this year. It usually falls sort of a different time of year when I'm just too busy to do anything. But yeah, it's been heaps of fun. Thanks, Russ, and maybe think about, you know, running some other style of build-off competition, because, you know, we're sort of running out of form with we've got a lot of magnet motor style machines this year. I mean, it might be a good idea to have maybe a wave motor build-off, or a firecracker motor build-off, or I don't know, just thinking out of the side of the box. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, click the subscribe button. Yeah. Cheers.